Bevor wir die beiden Künstlerinnen auf die Bühne bitten, erlauben Sie mir noch mal ganz kurz 2, 3 Kommentare zum Baloise Kunstpreis. Sie haben es vorher schon im Film gehört. Die Spezialität an diesem Kunstpreis, den wir seit 1999 verleihen, ist, dass es wirklich ein Preis ist, der junge Künstler unterstützt in ihrem Werk, in ihrem Tun. Und er ist eigentlich ein Sprungbrett für die meisten Karrieren der Baloise Kunstpreisträger. Er besteht, wie gesagt, aus einem Barpreis. Er besteht aber auch daraus, dass wir ein Werk der Künstlerin oder des Künstlers ankaufen und dieses dann einem Museum schenken, das eine Vernissage oder eine Ausstellung nachher auch mit diesem Künstler durchführt. Und dieser Dreiklang ist eigentlich die Spezialität, die der Baloise Kunstpreis ausmacht. Wir geben nicht nur Geld und lassen den Künstler dann wieder in seine Welt verschwinden, sondern wir bringen ihn zusammen mit den Museen und ermöglichen ihm auch zum ersten Mal im Rampenlicht zu stehen. Vielleicht noch ein Wort zu unserer Jury. Auch die ist natürlich zusammengesetzt aus Fachexperten. Es sind in dem Sinn, in Anführungs-Schlusszeichen, nicht einfach kunstinteressierte Baloise-Mitarbeitende, obwohl wir viele von denen hätten, sondern es sind Fachfrauen und Fachmänner, die in der Jury sind. Es sind immer 3 sind gesetzt. Das ist der Chairman der Jury, Martin Schwander, unser Kunstberater. Das ist aktuell Marie-Noël Farsi. Sie ist die Kuratorin des Museums für moderne Kunst in Luxemburg, also eines dieser Museen, dem wir nachher ein Werk schenken. Es ist Sven Beckstätte. Er ist Kurator des Hamburger Bahnhofs in Berlin. Und dann wechseln wir immer. Wir haben jedes Jahr also eine Sammlerin oder ein Sammler und noch einen Experten oder eine Expertin mit dabei. Dieses Jahr als Sammlerin ist dabei Grażyna Kulczyk. Sie ist eine Sammlerin aus Polen. Man kennt sie auch, weil sie hat das Museum Susch im Engadin gegründet, wo sie auch Werke aus ihrer eigenen Sammlung ausstellt. Und es ist Stéphane Acker. Er ist Direktor in Montreal am Museum für Fine Arts. Diese beiden sind zum ersten Mal dabei und sie werden dann nächstes Jahr auch wieder nicht dabei sein. Und hier, damit stellen wir auch ein bisschen sicher, dass immer wieder frisches Blut in die Jury kommt. But now, let me switch to English and make it comfortable for me and then afterwards for our winners of the Baloise Art Prize 2021. First is Hanna Miletic, and I cite from the jury's report, which says, Hanna Miletic's work strikes a deep, albeit discreet chord in today's world. Her woven transcriptions of commonplace repairs on cars and buildings speak of economic hardship and personal resilience, as does the transnational dimension of her project between Pristina and Basel. Her process itself, the slow and attentive act of weaving, meaningful echoes the deeper task we are all engaged in. Please welcome to the stage Hanna Miletic. Hanna's work was presented by the gallery Lambda, founded by Isabella Ritter and Katharina Schendl. They have since 2015 the first international gallery for contemporary work in Pristina. Then our second winner of the Baloise Art Prize 2021 is Cameron Claiborne. Cameron's sculptures in his series Homegrown hang suspended from the ceiling like cocoons. By appearing to be standing on a tiptoe, they command distance, and yet their materiality lures viewers into taking a closer look, thus seesawing between distance and closeness, solidity and fragility. Claiborne informs his work with great vitality and an impressive physical presence. And his physical presence we now welcome on the stage, Cameron Claiborne. So, thanks both of you. When you came to Basel, I don't know, on the weekend or on Monday, I mean, Hannah, what were your ambitions? Because, I mean, I would say it's one of the first possibilities in the last 2 years to show your work, and then also on such a big stage.
Yeah, I mean, I have shown my work during the last year and a half too, but I have not often have the possibility to be physically involved in presenting the work or mounting the work, and that has been really special and precious during the installation of last weekend to really be able to also convey in space how the works or to install the works myself. Yeah, that's been a long time ago that I have been able to do that. So last weekend was really very much also about that. Yeah.
Perhaps, I mean, most of you haven't seen her work yet, perhaps on something on the screen, but you will have the possibility if you go upstairs later. Basically, your work is our hand-woven textiles based on photographs. So I mean, the photographs are not the work as such. It's just for you to do the hand of buildings, cars, which have been, I would say, quick fixed. So is a quick repair mostly. But then your work with the hand-woven textile, something which takes a long time. So are you also, let's say, telling us to slow down in a fast-moving world?
Well, I don't think that the work carries such a direct message. I think my background is in photography, and as you said, now I use it in a very utilitarian way. The photographs serve as sketches for the woven works. Almost like in 17th century tapestries, you would use cartoons, which are drawings on hard paper or cardboard to model the tapestries on. That's how I use my photographs. And my process of reproducing an image or reproducing a social reality has really slowed down through the weaving process. And this is also, I think, why I've come to weaving. So I have this stretched, more conscious, aware, careful, thoughtful time to deal with these transformations that I see in public space. And with the gestures of care and repair that they represent. And I mean, I can only hope that somehow the work carries that also to the viewer. But it's not intentionally trying to send that message out, let's say. But I think it's very much in the matter of the work. Yeah.
Cameron, let me tell you that as someone who looks at art because he likes it, not in a sophisticated way, whereas Hannah's work is more subtle. You're loud. You're claiming the room with your sculptures. You also call them my guardians. So in the last 2 years, there was a lot of bad and evil to guard you from. So how did the pandemic influence your work?
Oh, it influenced it a lot. I feel like, I mean, it's really an honor to even be awarded for anything, because this work it took a lot of care and attention, like as yours, to create. So I would say that the pandemic definitely allowed me the time to be very hyper-focused into that work. But I think it's something about like the need to be both public and private at the same time. And I think a lot of like the work that like homegrowns are coming from that energy, which is that I need to occupy both spaces at once. And I feel like COVID definitely made you realize how much you can actually define home within your own body. And so I would say that the homegrowns are very much related to that idea that I don't need to seek external validation or seek external spaces in order to find home, that I can actually like grow it within myself.
Simone Subal, where you from the Subal Gallery, which presents Cameron's work, told me today that you were also influenced by your heritage.
Yeah.
So part of your work is when you saw your sister's child doing her hair,
right.
So that influenced you also in your work.
Definitely. The hair beads, which is what you see coming out of the forms, that's like a very traditional and very like strong cultural thing within Black people, to show that you're proud of your hair and who you are. So I grew up watching my sister get her hair braided with beads by my mother, and then watching my niece get her hair braided with beads by my sister. To me, it reminded me, this is also going back into the ideas of home, it reminded me that there's something actually molecular about it, that they're actually going to be, that something special like that is going to be passed down, So it's going to be built into her mechanism. It's going to be built into who she is, which I kind of find very interesting within these tiny little beads, that something like that can be denoted and understood as cultural, even though that they're like, if you think about them on a more like aesthetic perception, they seem very much like minimalist, small tiny sculptures. They're like black and white cubes and clear. But then, put into this context and put onto hair, it now, shifts greatly. So yeah, they're really important to be there.
So Hannah, your work is also, very political. You also with the we have the social issues between the, let's say, rich and poor. So you have also the your work you've done in Basel, where you also taken pictures, and as I understood right, the work you've done for Basel is now shown in Pristina. How you came to this connection? Because I don't know, were you aware of that? I mean, the airspace or the airways between Basel and Pristina are one of the most crowded, so there is really a connection.
Yeah, I was aware that there is a big also community of Albanians and Kosovars living and working in Basel. Maybe I'll just explain shortly. So the repairs that I've photographed in Pristina are shown here at the fair in Basel, and then I've photographed repairs in Basel, and they're shown in the gallery in Pristina. I was intrigued. I was born in Zagreb, which used to be Yugoslavia, together with Kosovo, part of it. So I'm from the region, and I'm kind of acquainted to the regulations of travel and movement of goods in that part of Europe. But I thought it was very particular that both Kosovo and Switzerland are both in Europe, but outside of the EU and outside of Schengen, but then have very different positions in terms of trade, travel of goods. And I thought that was really brought back to the fore during the last year, where we were really confronted again with where can you actually move to and what can be moved where. And that's kind of where the idea also grew from, to displace actually the repairs from Basel to Pristina, and to displace the repairs from Pristina to Basel, and to create accessibility between these two locations, because we have a video call which links the two gallery spaces, so that visitors from Pristina can visit the booth in Basel, and visitors in Basel can visit the gallery in Pristina.
So you can do that then at the booth, basically by a QR code where you can, or it's
we have a video call.
At a video call.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You live now in Brussels.
Yes.
So you were aware that you were the second Belgian who received the Baloise Art Prize?
I think Geert Goyres.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I actually yesterday when my portrait was taken, I saw the other winners, and I saw Geert, and Geert is actually he's not my teacher, but he teaches at the art school that I went to.
Okay.
So I actually know him quite well.
Okay. So you basically also were aware of the Baloise Art Prize and the supporting character of the prize?
Not so much. I've learned about it in preparations of the statements presentation. Yeah.
Cameron, when I mean, we talked about the heritage. Simone also talked a lot about claiming the space. You also have we don't see it on the picture there, but there is also a smaller piece of art. Perhaps you can explain it for us also, because it's that's more about claiming the space than the sculpture you won the prize for.
Right. Yeah. So those pieces, which you can't really see, they're really small. They are titled Room Piercers, and they came from looking at West African spiritual objects known as Nkiti Nkundi. And I mean, I can go into a long dialogue about those, but those objects have small shards stabbed into the body of the object. And so the person that owns the object does this in order to access the power that the object has. And so by looking through that and also noting that I have a connection through that, through diaspora, I was really struck by it, and I wanted to do that for myself. So I made these pieces that are steel and sharp at the end, and they point inside of the room in order to access the power of the room. There are pieces that also like dangle off of them that I call tools. And they are ambiguous, and I want that purposely to be ambiguous because I don't want to define what the tool could be or what it could be used for, as means to give that sort of tension between me and the viewer. And I've been making them for a while, just like out of clay. I form them kind of in like less than 10 seconds, and it's almost like a drawing practice through clay. And then through that process, I actually like pick through a few of the ones that I've made, and then I have them casted into aluminum and then powder coated. So yeah, that's what those pieces are. They're really, I really love them.
So Cameron, he lives and works in New Haven, and I mean, we can get philosophical now and say you found a new haven in New Haven, but you studied there at Yale. You studied sculpture. You finished, you said, so you got in your last. You don't have to give. We spoke together before, so you don't have to give his prize in there, so that his professor grade him a little bit higher. You already finished, but were there in the last 2 years also, because you're at the let's say starting of your career, and the Baloise Art Prize should also be a stepping stone for you or for artists. Were there times when you thought, okay, perhaps that's not the right time now to start a career as an artist?
Yeah. I mean,
when is it the right time?
Yeah, when is it the right time? It's always tough. I feel like the past 2 years at Yale were really great. They were very, very challenging. However, I was like, now I think back on it, I'm very grateful for the fact that I was there throughout the pandemic, because that kept me very focused and very much at least around more creative people, and that keeps your energy up. I think that's like really like the best thing about it is that, or like maybe for longevity's sake, it's like you need people around you to constantly, sort of not necessarily to assure you all the time, but just be like, go to the studio, like to just be like, just go, Yeah, so I feel like that's, super necessary.
So to end, do you have time in mind? Just a quick question. I mean, your work is going to Luxembourg now, to the Museum of Modern Art in Luxembourg, but I think you will not show then the work we see here. You probably would do something else, but I mean, are you already excited? So it's closer now to where you live?
Yeah. I'm I tend to work quite site specifically, so I'm also excited or curious to learn about the museum and its location more in depth, also to develop a project that resonates to that site. And indeed it's very nice that it's close to my second home in Brussels, which will be a great opportunity also to
and Cameron, we will see Cameron then in Berlin, as your work is going to the Hamburger Bahnhof. Last questions to both of you. What do you do with the money? You also already have a project in mind? Spend it on holidays?
I don't know if I'll be doing that. I think I'll probably have to do the sensible thing and use the money to fund projects, things that I really want to do. Yeah.
You, huh?
Yeah, I think probably the same answer. I don't know, I haven't really...
Yeah.
It hasn't sunk in.
Sunk into at all, yeah.
Because when you came here, you didn't expect it to go as winners, with a smile in your eyes and on your face, and therefore that the smile not in the face, but in the eyes behind the mask, I already see with our chairman, Thomas van Planter, which I now give over to. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Dear Hannah, dear Cameron, dear guests, we would like to congratulate Hannah and Cameron for winning the 22nd Baloise Art Prize, awarded here at the 2021 Art Fair in Basel. I think this begs a round of applause.
Oh, thank you. And flowers. Wonderful. Thanks so much. Beautiful. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love the flowers. Beautiful.
Yeah.
These are so nice.
And it's
Gorgeous.
Dear Hannah and Cameron, you went through a tough and thorough selection process. And you were able to convince a strong panel of international experts with your art pieces. Congratulations for that. We hope today's art prize will boost your careers as artists. Former winners of the Baloise Art Prize have proven so. And it should also give you access to the various museums and to the art world at large. And both your galleries should be equipped to help you on that endeavor. We wish you best of luck and hope to see your art pieces in the future in many different locations around this world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.